Again, my name's Tony. I'm glad that you're here. We have an hour together for adaptive yoga. So we're going to get going in just a moment. All I'm going to ask is that you make sure that you can hear me. So whatever device you're listening to on, make sure that's turned up enough that you can hear me clearly. And the other thing is that you can see me clearly, and that you have a chair and that you have a little bit of space around you. So again, my name's Tony. I'm happy that you're watching, and I'm going to sit back in my chair as you get comfortable too, and we'll get going together. So first things first, make sure you can hear me and make sure that you can see me clearly. And then whatever chair you happen to be sitting on, make sure it's stable. So if your chair happens to have wheels on it, maybe you could lock those wheels. And if you wiggle from side to side on your chair, hopefully you're going to feel quite stable. The chair is everything you're going to need today, so you're not going to need any other props. If, however, at the end for relaxation, you like to have a little blanket around you, or at the end for relaxation, if you like to lie down on the floor or somewhere like a bed or a couch, then make sure that that's handy. And I'll give you a heads up when we get there. The other thing is, wherever you are seated, make sure that you have a little bit of space around you and in front of you, so you're not going to be knocking anything flying as your arms and legs are going to be moving. Make sure you have a little bit of space behind you as well. Fantastic. And then from there, the very first thing that we do is we get rooted through our feet. So more or less making sure our feet are around about a hip distance or a comfortable distance for you. And for me, that means that it looks a little bit like it looks. And then secondly, if you need the support of the back of your chair, please take it. Otherwise, I encourage you to come forward a little bit so you've got space between the back of the chair and your spine. That way, we're already starting to engage the supportive muscles of our structure, of the spine in particular, all those stabilizer muscles, and just sitting away from the back of your chair are going to help you engage, strengthen, and stabilize all of the joints. So sitting a little bit away from the back of the chair. And if that's a lot for you, then you can keep going backwards and forwards using that support of the back of your chair. So we're going to root down into those feet. You can even pick your feet up so the heels are on the earth. Spread the toes as wide as possible. Then take the balls of the feet down, the toe mounds, all the way from the pinky edge of your toes all the way to the big toe. And then we lay those toes down too. So we really get a connection down to the earth. You can even push down into your legs a little if you like. That way you may start to feel a waking up of the muscles in the legs. From there, if you wiggle a little bit from side to side, you're going to feel maybe two bony bits underneath you. Those are the base of the pelvis. And we want to get just as rooted into our seat as we did in our feet. So imagining that from the pelvis downwards, everything is rooting downwards as well. So you can always imagine, if you like, growing out from the base of your spine down into your seat, past your seat, and down into the earth, and from your feet as well. You can imagine roots growing down, just like tree roots. And if we thread those down through the earth, we get them really deep, and then we get this connection downwards. And we also get that feeling of support underneath us. From there, so imagine from the pelvis downwards, we're really nice and rooted now. From there, there is this rebounding from the grounding up through the spine, in through the heart, through the crown of the head. Collarbones are wide, shoulder blades soft. Hands can be wherever they're comfortable being. And in your own time, I'm going to ask you to take a full breath in. Exhale it out. Another full breath in. Exhale it out. Last one here. Deep, full breath, whatever that means for you. Exhale it out. Nicely done. I'm just going to adjust something 1 second. So, when we let the breath go, come back to a natural, easy breath. Whatever that feels like in your body. And then we have this moment here to check in. And so you can keep your eyes open, you can soften your gaze, you can lower your gaze, or if you're comfortable, you can close your eyes. And I'm not going to be moving, so you don't need to see me right now. And then we take a moment just to notice how we're feeling today. And the more we resist what's there, the more it'll become a distraction for us. So see if you can just notice and accept how it is you're feeling. Your mind, your emotions. And then we start to take that awareness inside our body. So the first thing that's going to happen when we start to notice our body is loud sensations and familiar places will become really apparent. So if you have any discomfort in your body that you live with, that's going to get very loud very quickly. Acknowledge the places that are loud. Acknowledge the sensations that are present, really present. And then we offer our awareness to different places in our body. Maybe places you're not aware of or you don't pay much attention to. You can even start your awareness at the crown of your head and allow that awareness to sweep down through the body, bit by bit, noticing all the places that come into your awareness as you gradually draw your awareness down until we find the soles of our feet once again supported by the earth. And then tune in and notice any muscle tension that's in your body. And with your intention, offer some softness to those places. You may even feel the outer edges of your body softening and relaxing. And then from there, we start to notice our breath just as it is. Our inhales and our exhales. And the breath changes all the time. There's no right or wrong way to breathe here. If it feels comfortable to you, bringing the lips together, starting to breathe in and out through the nose. If that doesn't feel right to you, there's no need to do it. And we start to focus on the breath. And however your breath is, on the next inhale, we're going to make that inhale just a little deeper. And on the exhale, just a little longer. So the inhale, getting just a little deeper. The exhale, just a little longer. And again, there's no right and wrong way to breathe. Just with all of the things we're going to be doing in this practice, we're just doing as much or as little as feels right in your body. And that'll be different for each of us. With those slightly deeper, longer inhales and exhales, knowing that you can come back to an easy breath at any time. We then start to steady the breath out. So we smooth the inhale from the bottom of the inhale all the way to the top. And the exhale, from the top of that exhale all the way down to the bottom, we start to smooth and steady the breath as best as we can. And there'll be areas that feel more jumpy than others, but we do our best. Inhaling and exhaling. So we have these deeper, smoother inhales, longer, smoother exhales. And again, this breath length is different for each of us. Making sure you can stay at a breath length that feels comfortable and not too much like forcing. And then comes the third part, which is the letting go. So however much effort you're putting into the breath, do a little bit less. So you feel a softening through your body and a softening of the effort. So the breath becomes a little easier. So we have these deeper, smoother, softer inhales now, longer, smoother, softer exhales. Making sure that there's just enough effort there, but there's just as much ease as well, especially on that exhale. The inhale is always the effort, the exhale always the ease. So see if you can find a balance between the two. And if this is new to you, it can take a while. Again, if this breathing does not feel right to you at any point, you just let it go, come back to an easy breath. Whatever that means for you. Otherwise, we're going to stay with that breath. Longer, smoother, and softer. And then we're going to root down through those feet of yours. So spreading those toes wide, once again, we connect down to the earth. Do the same thing with our seat, rooting downwards. Those roots growing down into the earth in your visualization, if you like. From that grounding, we lift through the spine, through the crown of the head. Collarbones, once again, feel wide, and the shoulders soft and heavy. Longer, smoother, softer breaths in and out. And then we're going to use that breath to guide our movement. So this is the inhale. On the exhale, I'm going to take our nose over towards the right, and I'm going to mirror you. So taking the nose towards the right. And then this is the exhale. On the inhale, we're going to lift the chin up. On the exhale, taking the gaze all the way to the left. Inhaling up, exhaling right, and so forth. But the movement is done with the breath. So the inhale lifts us, exhale draws down. Inhaling, lifting, exhaling to the other side. Now this movement does not have to be big. As if we're tracing an arch in the air with our nose, the tip of our nose. And then you get to decide how big or how small that arch is. And maybe less is better today. Or maybe you feel like you got a whole big arch there and it feels okay in your neck, your upper back and shoulders, throat, chest. And wherever it may be that you're feeling it. We have another 2 breaths here either side. You can always rest whenever you need to. More is not better in yoga. We're simply tuning in and figuring out what works for us today. And at the end of the next exhale, whichever side you're on will stay. This is now the inhale. On the exhale, chin comes down towards the chest and inhaling up the other side. Exhaling down, inhaling up. So now we're drawing a smile with the tip of our nose in the air. And that smile does not have to be very big. The breath is guiding you. So the inhale lifts the nose, the exhale draws it down. Inhaling to the other side. And you may feel some places that don't feel quite so smooth. You may notice that you're rushing through some places. Slow it down. Longer, smoother, softer breath in and out. 2 more either side. And the next time the chin comes down towards the chest, we'll keep it there. Collarbones wide, maybe the shoulders draw back a little over the hips. Breathe longer, smoother, and softer. And maybe you're noticing this in the top of your shoulders, your upper back. Stay for one last breath unless you're resting early. And on the next inhale, the crown of the head will come up. Nicely done. Any movements you need in your body, you can go ahead. Otherwise, we're going to come to the next movement. We're going to take that right arm up, palm towards me. Now, elbow can be down or up shoulder height or anywhere in between, your choice. You can stay here with the palm facing me or turn the palm towards you, and then those fingertips can rest towards or on that right shoulder. No big deal. Doesn't matter wherever your body would like you to stop. And then from here, on an inhale, we're going to draw the elbow back behind you any amount. And the inhale, we're going to draw that elbow forward. Exhale forward. Inhaling open, exhaling forward. And we're just isolating into the shoulder joint on the right side. So notice if you bring the elbow forward, if the left shoulder is coming forward, see if you can keep that still and just move into the right shoulder, even if that means that the movement is smaller. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Nicely done. Only as much as the breath will let you. So if you lose the breath, rest, come back to the breath and move from there. We have another 2 on this side. Inhaling and exhaling. And the next time you come to an exhale, we're going to take that hand down. Nice. Any adjustments you need, go ahead, coming to the other side. Left arm up, palm towards me, palm towards you, fingertips on or towards that left shoulder. On an inhale, keeping everything central, the elbow comes back on the inhale, forward on the exhale. Notice where you're feeling this in your body. It may be curious that it's not necessarily where you think you would be feeling it, or maybe it's exactly where it is. Just get curious. Inhaling and exhaling. Soften the movement if you need to. Keep it smaller. As long as the breath is easy, then you're good. Another 2 on this side. With your breath, inhaling and exhaling. And the next time that elbow comes forward, we're going to take the hand down. Adjust any amount that you need to. And from there, we're going to take both arms up. Now, if you prefer to go from side to side, one arm at a time, you can go ahead and do that. Palms towards me, palms facing you, fingertips on or towards those shoulders. And wherever you are, the inhale, we draw the elbows back. On the exhale, the elbows come towards each other. They do not have to meet. Inhaling, wide. Exhaling, wide back body. So the inhale is opening up through the pectoral muscles. And the exhale, we're opening up through the back body, especially at the back of the heart. Inhaling and exhaling. The rest of our spine is completely still. Inhaling and exhaling, beautifully done. Another 2 in your own time, unless you want to rest. And don't forget, the elbows can be lower if you're getting a whole lot of fatigue in the shoulders. Staying for the last exhale. And then when you're ready, the hands come down to a place that's comfortable for you. From there, on an inhale, I'm going to draw both shoulders up by the ears, and exhale, we're going to roll them in a circle. So the inhale draws up, the exhale takes it down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Make the movement steady and smooth. So the movements are controlled ranges of motion rather than momentum, which is just swinging things around. There's nothing wrong with momentum, but what we're doing here is blending the movement with the breath, so that's just a little different. Again, no right and wrong. And then at the end of the next exhale, we're going to pause and take that around in the opposite direction. Inhaling and exhaling. Notice if there's places that feel more comfortable than others. Just notice sensations rising and falling in your body. Great way to do that is to close your eyes. You got another 2 in this direction, and you're always welcome to just stay and explore more. The end of the next exhale, we're going to pause and come back to center. And then from there, hands come onto the thighs. If you're not sitting forward, so if you're sitting into the back of your chair, I highly recommend for this movement you come forward a little so you got a little bit of space behind you. Hands on the thighs, root into the feet, the seat lifting up from there, rooting to rise. On the inhale, we're going to draw the shoulder blades back towards each other, so we've got this wide open front body, and the heels of the hands are going to slide up the thighs to the pelvis. That's the inhale. On the exhale, we're going to push the fingertips towards or onto the knees, maybe the shins. We're going to draw the belly in towards the spine and flex the spine. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me. So on the inhale, we've got a neutral spine to start. On the inhale, we're going to arch the back, draw the shoulder blades back, and the heels of the hands come back. So we get this opening through the front of the chest. On the exhale, sliding the fingers towards the front of the knees, and we round and sit back into the hammock of the back. Inhaling, lifting of the chest, exhaling, collapsing of the chest, widening of the back body. And from there, if you want to add on the inhale, the chin can lift. We've already been here. And on the exhale, the chin can draw down. And then we get into the back of the neck as well. Inhaling and exhaling. And the last piece is, if you haven't already done it, on an inhale, we're going to stick our tail out behind us. So we get this really generous arch in the lumbar spine. And then on an exhale, we're going to tuck the tail. So we roll into the back of the pelvis, and we get this rounding through the lower back. Now, depending on what feels good in your body, then stay at a place that feels best for you. And again, the movement does not have to be big. Inhaling and exhaling. If it simply feels good, opening through the front of the chest and then sliding the fingers forward, opening through the back of the heart, back of the ribs, then stay there. Only add the neck and the lumbar spine, the lower spine, if it feels good to you. And you know if it feels stable in the body because you're breathing steady breaths in and out. We've got another 3 breaths here. If you want to rest early, rest early. This is again your practice. Longer, smoother, and softer breaths. Staying for that last exhale. And then on an inhale, coming back up to a neutral spine. And then from there, we can stay exactly as we are. Or I'm going to ask you to take your hands up behind your head. Elbows can come in towards the screen, towards me. That's going to soften through the shoulders. And the back of the head is sitting into the cup of the hands. Option to stay here, elbows forward, or you can open up the elbows any amount. And we sit the back of the head into the cup of the hands even more. So imagine there's a wall behind you, the back of your head, top of your shoulders, and your pelvis are all going to meet that imaginary wall. Now keeping your feet and your seat rooted, this is the inhale. On the exhale, now lift the left elbow and tilt towards the right. Length through the left side. Inhaling to center, exhaling over towards the left. Now this is not a very big movement. What normally happens here is we start to come forward and get a twist involved. I encourage you to imagine just sliding down the wall. So again, that might restrict the movement, but we start to get into the lateral spine, the sides of the spine, instead of coming into that twist. Inhaling and exhaling. The head is sitting back into the hands. Again, elbows forward, elbows wide, your choice. No right and wrong, simply what feels better for you. Next time we come and dip towards the right, we're going to stay. What normally happens here is the left sit bone likes to lift somewhat. I'm going to ask you to root that down, rooting down the left side of the pelvis and the left side of the foot, but lifting up through the left elbow. Sitting back with the crown of your head and the base of your spine into your palm, breathing. I'm going to stay for another 2 breaths. Easy breath, longer, smoother, and softer. Last breath here. And then on an inhale, we're going to come up and just go side to side a little with your breath. And then the next time we come to the left, we stay. And again, sitting back with the base of your skull into the palms of your hands, lifting up through the right elbow, but we root down through the right sit bone, so we get heavy through the seat, so we get some length through the right intercostal muscles, especially in between the ribs. And another 2 breaths here. Longer, smoother, and softer breaths. Last breath. Stay for the exhale. On an inhale, up we come, and then we release the hands down. Take the hands all the way to the side of you, and if you have mason jaws there, we're going to just screw the jaws on and off. Instead of just from the elbow, from the entire arm. So from the upper arm, inhaling and exhaling. Nicely done. Hands come back onto the thigh. And then from here, coming into a twist, I'm just going to grab some water there. So, coming into a twist. I'll show you how, where we're going to go, and then you can adapt it and adjust it from there. You can keep your hands crossed over your heart. You can even keep your hands palm to palm, prayer position, or you can hook fingers, your choice. Or you can take the arms up. If the arms are up, widen the palms to soften through the shoulders so we're not all crunched up. On an inhale, we're coming through center. I'm going to come from prayer position, then I'm going to take you up with your hands. This is the inhale. Hips, knees, ankles facing forward. This is the inhale. On the exhale, we're going to turn towards the right. Inhaling center, exhaling towards the left. Now from the pelvis down, nothing is changing. What we like to do though, is as we come to one side, the opposite hip likes to come along with us, and we feel like we can get a whole lot more twist. But what's happening is we're getting the pelvis involved. We want to isolate this into the spine. These are all spinal movements. So on the inhale, we lift. Exhale, we turn towards the right. Left hip can even draw back a little to make sure we're not shifting it forward. Inhaling forward, exhaling to the left. Again, you can draw the right hip back if that feels like it helps. If you'd like the arms overhead, This is the inhale, thumb spin behind you. On the exhale, we turn to the right, cactus the arms. Inhaling center, exhaling to the left. Inhaling and exhaling. With your breath. You can even gaze over the back shoulder if that feels good in your neck. No matter where you are with your hands. You got another 2 either side. Rest early if you want to. If there's anywhere in your body that's getting tense and tight, see if you can offer some softness to those areas and adjust the movement to feel easier for you. More or less 1 more breath. And on the next exhale, we're going to take those hands all the way down. Roll through the shoulders. Anything you need, go ahead. And from there, I'm going to take the feet nice and wide. And this external rotation is going to look different for each of us, so make sure it's comfortable for you. Knees above the ankles, so the ankles aren't underneath us in kind of like frog legs, or the ankles aren't way out from under the knees. This way we've got a whole lot of stability. Hands on the thighs, and again, if you're not already, you can sit maybe away from the back of your chair just to get into the spine. Fingertips can slide inwards towards the thighs. This way I feel like it's comfortable in my body and I have a lot of security and stability, but you can figure it out for yourself what feels good. And then on the inhale, we're going to draw the heart forward, and that's the extension of the spine. On the exhale, we're going to curl the spine back. So we've got these big rotations in the spine. And I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me. With a wide body, we're going to exhale back and inhale forward. So we've got that full movement in the spine. So everything we've been doing pretty much apart from the twist, that's where we're going. We've got the extension and flexion, we've got the side of the spine, inhaling and exhaling. And once you have the direction, I highly recommend closing your eyes and just taking your cues from your body, noticing what feels good, and if resting feels good, or making this movement smaller, go ahead. Again, bigger is not better. And then at the end of the next exhale, or when you're ready, we'll pause and then take it around in the opposite direction. And it'll take a moment for us to get used to this direction, and then we start to smooth it out. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. You can get your shoulders, your head, your neck, your pelvis involved. Just make sure you feel nice and stable on your chair. Another couple here, unless you're resting early. At the end of that exhale, we're going to pause. Come back to a neutral spine. If you need to adjust your stance at any point, you go ahead and do that and make sure that you feel stable. And then from here, we're going to take that left palm, turn it up, and we're going to take the forearm down towards that thigh. And then just like before, imagining what happens here is we come forward, and I'm over exaggerating, but the shoulder dips down. What I want you to imagine is that there's that wall behind you, so we open up the right shoulder towards the back of the wall behind you, that imaginary wall. So both shoulders and the back of your head are resting against that imaginary wall. Belly's drawn in towards the spine, and we're breathing longer, smoother, and softer. Now, if you're collapsing into the left forearm, use the connection forearm to thigh to draw the left ribs away. And again, that right shoulder will pull back somewhat. Those right fingertips can slide towards the right knee. This is the exhale. On an inhale, I'm going to flip that palm and take the arm overhead. On the exhale, palm comes down. Inhaling, arm coming up. Exhaling down. Keep the joints nice and soft. So shoulders, elbows, wrists, fingers and thumbs, nice and easy. So there's a flow to the movement. And again, if you need to adjust at any point to make this more comfortable in your body, then go ahead. Again, there's no right and wrong way of this. Inhaling and exhaling. And then if you'd like to add on, the next time those right fingertips come up and over, they'll stay. Palm facing down. Option to stay here. Option to lift the left forearm off the thigh. And if this is a lot, and it is because you're taking the weight of your upper body into your lower abdominals. So if this doesn't feel comfortable, take that support back onto the thigh. Otherwise, if you're hovering and your breath is longer, smoother, and softer, option to take the left arm to meet the right. Like you've got a ball or a beach ball, and that can be as big or as small as you like to ease through the shoulders. And we're breathing. We've got the foundation. The right sit bone is just as rooted as the left. And you can make that happen by shifting your weight into the right hip somewhat. Reach through the fingertips. Longer, smoother, and softer. 2 more breaths. Come out early if it feels better for you. Stay for the last exhale. I'm going to take that left forearm down, and then the right arm comes down too, and we come all the way back to center. Any movements you need in your body, go ahead. Same thing, other side. So from here, we're going to come over towards the right. Right palm turns up and the forearm down onto the thigh. If you already feel like your chest is collapsing, then see if you can draw the left shoulder back somewhat. And imagine someone just took an ice cream scoop and scooped out your belly. So there's a little bit of a connection to the belly drawing in towards the spine somewhat. And we're breathing. If you ever lose the breath, you know you've gone too far, come back to a previous modification or rest in neutral. Left fingertips towards that left knee. Turn the palm up. On an inhale, we float the arm up, maybe overhead. Exhale, palm comes down. Keep the movement with your breath. So the inhale lifts always, the exhale draws down. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Joints are soft. And that left shoulder is drawn back towards that imaginary wall behind you, as is the base of your skull. Now you can stay here. Palm faces down. Option to hover that right arm. And if that's way too much, keep the support. One is not better than the other. You're working with how you feel it's right for you today. If you're adding on more, the right arm comes to meet the left, and here we are. If the chest is facing downwards, open up the left armpit. And again, we've got that imaginary wall behind us for support, and we're breathing. Inhaling and exhaling, shifting the weight into the left sit bone. So we've got lift and foundation, rooting to rise. Another 2 breaths. Staying for the last exhale. And then on the next breath, the right arm comes down and the left hand comes all the way down too. Roll through the shoulders one way, roll through the shoulders another way. And we're going to heel toe those legs in and bring the ankles and knees into touch. Now shift yourself so once again you feel stable on your chair. With the knees and ankles in towards each other, it can feel a little less stable than when we have the wide foundation. So adjust your stance to you. From there, depending on how much support you need at the back of your thighs, you can come forward in your chair. That's what I like. But make sure, again, above all else, you're not going to fall off your chair. So I'm going to shuffle forward a little bit. I'm going to get into some external rotation. So ankles and knees in towards each other. Your left foot is going to be your foundation. Hand on the right knee. On the exhale, we're going to take that right knee out towards the side, rocking onto the outer blade of that right foot, any amount. And the inhale, we're going to come back to center, staying on the right side. And again, the further forward you are, the less the chair is going to support the thigh and the more movement you'll have in that right hip. The left foot is rooting down, that's your foundation. Inhaling and exhaling, steady and smooth movements. The breath is guiding you. The inhale, always drawing in. The exhale, that external rotation. And that'll look different for each of us. And the next time that knee comes in towards center, we're going to keep it there. Right foot is foundation. On an inhale, on an exhale, we're going to take the knee out towards the left, coming to the outer blade of the foot, and then coming back on an inhale. External rotation and then coming back to center. And again, allowing this movement to be as easy and as flowing as feels good with the breath. If the breath gets choppy, then maybe come back to stillness, find the breath, and then move. Next time the knee comes in towards center, we're going to keep it there. If it feels stable to you to go one side to another, you can go right to left, or if you'd like to, on the exhale, we're going to take both knees out, coming to the outer blade of the feet, and on an inhale, back to center. And if you like to hold the chair for support, you can do that too. But the movement is as smooth and as fluid as you can make it. So rather than hanging out at the top of the inhale and the exhale, I want you to think of the transition as the focus. Inhaling and exhaling. Your breath, nobody else's. Getting used to that movement. And the next time those knees come out, we're going to stay there for 3 breaths. And again, hands can be anywhere you like for support. And then if your toes are just hanging out, you could spread those nice and wide. And you've got more or less one more full breath here. Last breath. And then when you're ready, the knees are going to come in towards each other, and we're going to take those feet about hip distance. Adjust your stance to make you feel comfortable. From there, going from into the ankles, we're going to lift the right heel, exhale, take it down. Inhale, lift the left heel and take it down. So I'll shift to the side so that you can see. So we're going to lift the heel and take it down, and lift the opposite heel and take it down. We want the movement to be as fluid as we possibly can get. So if you're feeling like you're jumping up and jumping down, see if again the transition is the place where you're focusing, inhaling and exhaling. And that heel doesn't have to come up very high. In fact, if it's getting very jumpy, keep the heel a little closer towards the floor, and then that will make it easier. Inhaling and exhaling. You can stay here. Otherwise, we're going to keep that left foot down, and we're simply going to lift that right foot up. Now, hands can come to the side of the leg, can interlace under the leg. We're going to pick that knee up. And let that lower leg dangle, and then we flex the foot somewhat. And then we're going to circle through the ankle in one direction. And then we're going to circle back in the opposite direction. And this is not going to feel fluid to 99.9 of it. And then from here, we're going to keep the knee drawn into the chest, slight flex in the right foot. The left foot is there as foundation, and we're going to inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see. Don't worry about whether that leg comes very high or not. Inhaling and exhaling. And then from there, if you want to add on, you can lower the thigh down so the arms are a little more, there's a little more length through the arms, inhaling and exhaling. And that knee does not have to be straight, but that left foot is there as foundation. Inhaling and exhaling. And then from there, if you want to, you can keep that leg extended. Maybe the thigh pushes down into the hands, the hands push back into the thigh. An option to push the heel away, toes spread nice and wide and come back towards your nose. Inhaling and exhaling. Option to stay, left foot rooted down. Option to start to glide those hands away, and maybe you need a little support or maybe you don't need any support at all. Last thing here, arms come up, thumbs spin behind you, 3 breaths. And if that means the heel comes further down towards the earth or it's hip height, then that's up to you. Whatever feels better in your body. You'll know because of the breath. You got one last breath here, and then the leg comes all the way down. Anything you need in your legs, go ahead. Same thing, other side. So we're going to lift and lower the left heel a little, and then we're going to stay up. Maybe this is where you want to stay in focus. Great place to be, lifting up through the heel. Right foot is there as foundation. Hands at the side of your thigh, you can interlace them underneath, and we're going to pick that left knee up. And the bottom leg dangles, so you're supporting the top of the thigh here. And then we take a little flex into the left foot and circle through the ankle. Inhaling and exhaling. And then we're going to go around slowly in the opposite direction. Snap, crackle, and pops in there. Don't worry. Coming back to center. Again, the weight of the thigh is taken by the hands, the arms, and the shoulders. This is the exhale. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me a little. On the inhale, we're going to extend, and on the exhale, we curl. But the inhale is just as slow as the exhale. Inhaling and exhaling. And then when you're ready, you're welcome to take the thigh down into the hands. So the weight of the thigh, the leg is a little longer here, so there's a whole lot more weight. Obviously, if the knee is closer in, you're not needing quite so much weight in the arms. So you decide for yourself. And then the heel pushes away, knee bent or straight, doesn't matter. Toes come back towards you. Use the right leg as foundation, and we lift up through the heart so we're not slumping back into the chair. Option to stay here. Option to drift the hands away from the thighs, even if that means the heel comes down and hovers off the floor. You make it work in your body. Option to stay here. Arms come up, thumbs spin behind you. Wherever you are, 3 breaths. And again, the heel is down, the heel is mid-height, the heel is up, no big deal. You'll know because the breath is easy. You've got one more breath here. Heart lifting, and on the exhale, the hand and the left leg come down. And again, anything you need to do in your body, go ahead. And then I'm going to take the feet wide again, not quite as wide. And all we're going to do, and you can use your chair as foundation or hands on your thighs, is we're going to windshield wiper those knees from side to side, going to from the outside and inside of the edges of the feet. And the more you come forward, the more the freedom you'll have in the hips. The more you come back, the chair will support the top of your thighs more. Inhaling and exhaling. And then from there, we're going to heel toe the feet in towards each other, and then we're going to sit back into the back of the chair. And this is the opportunity here. If you prefer to be lying on the floor for Shavasana or relaxation, you can go ahead and do that now. Or if you want to stay in your chair and you have a blanket handy, you can do that as well. Otherwise, we're just sitting into the back of the chair. And by that I mean you can rest your upper back, your mid back, depending on your chair, into the chair. Just make sure that this is sustainable and comfortable for you. The more uncomfortable it is, the more distraction we have because of sensation in our body. And from there, you get to adjust your legs, your arms, to whatever feels comfortable for you. Allow the shoulders to be soft and heavy. Allow you to be supported by the chair, and maybe if there's a wall behind you, I know I have one, I can rest my head on it. Just make it comfortable for you. And if you need to change your chair in any way to make that happen, go ahead. From there, I want you to soften your gaze, lower your gaze, or even close your eyes if you're comfortable. And tune in, just like we did in the beginning of class, tune into sensation in your body. Firstly, the sensation of being supported. Trust that support and sink into it. I know I say that a lot, but so much of the time we notice the support, but our body is still so full of tension resisting it. Allow your bones to get nice and heavy. And imagine all the soft tissues and inner organs relaxing. Relax the muscles around your face, especially your eyes and jaw. Relaxing the lower belly and the lower back. And then from there, together, we'll take a full breath in. Exhale it out. We'll take a full breath in. Option to hold at the top. If you're holding, take another sip in. Hold again. One last sip. Fill up. Exhale. Relaxing and releasing it down. And then from there, we let go of any change in the breath. So the breath comes back to its easy self, as easy as we can make it, as easy as it can be. And then from the crown of your head, invite in and down a wave of relaxation washing down through the body, softening and relaxing muscle tension as it goes until it comes all the way down to the soles of your feet. And then another wave of relaxation. Maybe on every exhale, there's a wave of relaxation, releasing tension, softening through your joints. Letting muscles unwind. Easy breath. Really allowing yourself to relax and release. Allowing the thoughts in your mind to feel soothed and easy as well. Allowing any constriction over your chest and heart space to start to feel softer, so there's more expanse there. any tension left anywhere in your body. Now see if you can intentionally send softness to those areas. And every exhale, a wave of relaxation from the crown of your head down to the soles of your feet. Letting go. Offering calm, peaceful waves of relaxation. And then when you're ready, if those waves of relaxation are rolling through your body, you're going to simply allow those waves to dissolve away. And then when you're ready, just listening to the sound of your breath. And keeping that quality of softness, of relaxation, if you found it in your body. Staying exactly as you are, or option to bring your hands into a gesture that suits you this morning, keeping your body easy. And so you can bring your palms together. You can take your palms stacked over your heart and give yourself a hug. You can keep your hands on your belly or belly and chest. You can simply keep your hands in your lap. And bring into mind one small thing that you are grateful for. A small thing. And take a big breath of gratitude in. Exhale it out. And then from there, bring someone who you are grateful for into your awareness. Someone who you are grateful for. And offer a big breath of gratitude in. And exhale gratitude out for whomever that was. And allow that to dissolve. And lastly, take a big breath of gratitude for yourself. Breathe it in. Exhale, thanking yourself, drawing your chin towards your chest if you like, offering a prayer of thanks to yourself for being here today, for spending this time breathing and moving and connecting to yourself. In your own time, I'm going to start to move those fingers. And then from there, any lazy movements that feel good to you throughout your body. The movements can be tiny, they can be big, anything at all that feels right to you. And then in your own time, we'll find ourselves once again seated, filling our awareness down to the floor, all the way down to the soles of your feet, your seat, and from there the lifting, the rooting to rise. From my heart to yours, I thank each and every one of you for being here today. I wish you a wonderful day and afternoon and evening.